Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And in this video, I wanted to speak about T-Mobile and the M&A space moving forward, right? Merger and acquisition. That's what the M&A space, that's what that stands for. And the reason I wanted to tie T-Mobile into this is because, for one, AT&T doesn't need it anymore on the wireless side. They got the backings of the government. They're getting reimbursed for this first net build out, which AT&T consumers can also take advantage of. So anything moving forward for AT&T on the M&A side is going to be in fiber. I said that in yesterday's video, and I 100% stand by that. I'm not going to change my opinion on that until I see a significant change in their direction. So if you think AT&T moving forward and you think about them in the M&A space, think fiber, 100%. And Verizon, they already did their M&As, right? That's how they got to the size of network that they have today. They bought up a bunch of rural, small regionals to get the network where it is today. And that is still the case, right? There's still a lot of carriers, small regional carriers that are using Verizon assets, and Verizon customers can use that network as if it was the native Verizon network. So I wanted to bring up T-Mobile because if you look at their patterns, it's very similar to what Verizon did to get to the size of network that they have as of today. So we start, right, we just backtrack a little bit. We start with the Metro PCS merger that happened very early on when John became CEO, right? That didn't necessarily, gain them a ton of coverage, but it got them to be a bigger size company, a bit of better profits, revenue, and they did gain some towers from that merger, and they got PCS spectrum. So that was one, right? So then the second one, you gotta, if you guys remember, T-Mobile ended up getting the Iowa wireless assets. And they're still converting some of those towers in Iowa, I've been told. So that was another acquisition type situation where T-Mobile gained additional footprint, right? And then what you have here on screen, the article from Fierce Wireless, the what many consider the mega merger was the Sprint merger, right? There are several assets that T-Mobile gained from that merger. It wasn't just the Sprint tower grid and the Spectrum assets. They also gained Shentel, and they also gained Swiftel, which are tower assets in areas that, if I haven't fully researched it, but in that West Virginia area, T-Mobile likely didn't have a strong coverage footprint, but now they will with this merger. Same in that Swiftel area. T-Mobile probably didn't have the assets nor the tower grid to effectively compete, which they now do. So that was the third one, right? It was Metro PCS. It was the Iowa wireless assets, and then the mega merger Sprint, right, on the M&A side. So the reason I wanted to talk about that today is because, like I said, AT&T M&A, fiber. Think fiber on that. Verizon, they're likely done. They're too big of a company now. They don't need another merger. Maybe on fiber for them, because they are looking to expand the owner economics on the fiber footprint, and maybe they do buy a smaller player because of Fios. But when we're talking wireless and bigger scale, I don't think Verizon needs it. But right now, let's look at T-Mobile. Do I think there's another M&A in the future for T-Mobile? And you heard it here first. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say very confidently T-Mobile is going to need another merger or acquisition in the future. Not to the same type of scale and size as the Sprint one, but I think they're going to have to buy another regional or two. People keep saying US Cellular, perhaps. Some have told me Comnet. And who knows what else is out there, right? They need those assets to scale the network faster. Are they going to scale the network natively on their own? Yes, but they're not spending enough. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We're talking about going up against two competitors that have been outspending T-Mobile for an entire decade. There's no way that T-Mobile can catch up to that in 2 to 3 years of closing on a big merger like that. Will they get a better footprint? Will they better compete? Yes. But even they know, even Neville said it, he had to set up another roaming agreement with AT&T because he's behind on coverage. So speaking on the M&A side of things, I do think T-Mobile does need another merger or acquisition, and I think internally they know that, and of course they're always reviewing and looking at the market and how it's changing, and maybe not right now. I don't think right now they attempt this. Maybe they do it in 2024 if we get another Republican president in office. Remains to be seen. And of course, I'm speculating, but that's just currently with everything, with all the research, with all the internal information that I've consumed. That's kind of what I want to put out into the video for you guys. I think T-Mobile needs another merger or acquisition to really grow the network. And this is and this merger and acquisition would be to scale the network in the rural environment. It wouldn't be beneficial for the overall company to get another company of a bigger size, right? They really don't need it from a financial standpoint. They don't need it. They most certainly don't need it to grow more towers. They got that. They need it to scale the network in the rural environment. So a US Cellular, I see that about as big as they would go in terms of an M&A, if US Cellular, of course, was willing to sell. And, I could see it going very small, like I said, as a Comnet, or maybe as a Viero in Nebraska, potentially, right? So those are just some things that I wanted to throw out to you guys today. I think that talk is going to start heating up in the future. I don't have a time frame. I don't think it'll be 2023 or 2024, but 2025 and beyond, I could see those talks start heating up, because some people don't understand and realize how hard it is to scale a network to that size. Even going from, let's say T-Mobile does get to 2.5 million square miles covered with the 10,000 new site builds. Going from 2.5 to 2.8 where AT&T is, or 2.7 million square miles where Verizon is, that's a whole nother animal to get to. That means you have to build out that many more sites, and that's just, it's tough. It's not easy. Trust me, it is not easy. All the fiber that needs to be laid, the tower sites that have to be built, it's very expensive. And it may not make, right now, natively, it may not make business sense for T-Mobile to scale to 2.7 million square miles, if that makes sense. But with an M&A, right, like a US Cellular, for example, if they already have sites there and it's a good deal for T-Mobile and it may make sense to them, then they may close on a deal like that, and then they gain the coverage that way. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that. So make sure you guys leave all your comments in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel, like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.